Between 1992 and 2022, 30 years, United conceded only 2 goals in added time. Under Ten Hag, they've conceded 6. Stat number 1. Stat number 2. Since 17-18 season to now, City have beaten United more than Brighton. City have beaten United 8 times. Brighton have beaten United 7 times.
7 times, yeah.
Discuss.
Let's put it this way. United's unbeaten run of one game is finally over. I mean, last weekend we were saying that yes, they got the win, but there were a few areas here and there where I think we thought, and I personally thought, that they could have been punished, and this time around they were punished. Although I do feel like the result doesn't tell the whole picture of the game. Either team could have won, a draw would have sufficed.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be too harsh on United today. Today I'm not going to be too harsh.
Chep?
It's still early.
Yeah, I agree with Elijah on that bit whereby the game was very end-to-end. It could have gone either way. United had their chances, couldn't take it.
I can't hear you.
United had their
there
chances, couldn't take it. And then I think the substitution, removing your best player and substituting him, I think that was a problem. Defensively United was so poor, because if you can see that the last goal, the João Pedro goal, every player, every defender they were concentrating on Indigra on the other side, left 2 Brighton players on their own with that freedom. Indigra just had to put that loop ball, and that was it. So defensively United, even from the first game, they've just been shaky defensively.
But you see, now the question is, why was Maguire subbed?
Come on, guys.
No, for real. Why are you making a centre-back substitution?
And it was later in the game.
What's the point?
I understand why he subbed. Maybe he subbed Maguire because of delete. But
why?
The thing I don't understand was the Fernandes. I even asked Jemo, why did he sub off Fernandes during that game when he shows continuing on spot on? Because yes, United don't have a natural striker as per now because Højlund is injured and Zaxi hasn't quite settled in quite well. But in the second half, I thought the perfect sub was to bring in Zaxi, then bring in Fernandes into the middle of the park, because he's the most creative guy in the middle of the park, and he can somehow find the passes to link in the players. Yes, the Garnacho sub was good, but I just think United's defense isn't well protected, because you could see they were quite exposed. Casemiro didn't quite play as per his level when you compare to his first game of the season. I thought they were quite exposed, and that backline, I don't think they haven't quite played as a unit yet for that quite long. That's why you could see the kind of disconnection in that game, and I thought they deserved to be beaten in that game because they lost so many chances.
So let's start with the subs. I'm with Starboy. Why are you subbing a defender? I think you should sub a defender when it's an injury or you're putting in an attacker. Now, he did it versus Fulham. So are you telling me that Maguire is nowadays a 70-minute player that he can't do 90? I don't get it. Number 2, are you telling me De Ligt can't start? Or are you telling me you are trying to figure out yes? Or this is actually worse. Are you telling me that essentially, and I said this yesterday, that De Ligt is just a younger Maguire? Okay. Now, I asked you guys this last week, and I said I saw an interview by Gary Neville where he spoke about none of the De Ligt is not necessarily quick.
No.
He's really almost like a Maguire, just maybe classier. Maybe he can pass the ball better. Maybe I don't know. Whatever, man. But yeah. So I don't get the sub, because I think the sub sort of makes the defense has to reorganize itself, which I don't think is a good thing. Yeah. Of course, the injuries aren't helping United at all, because Dalot should not be at left back. It should be Luke Shaw. But Luke Shaw has this thing where he's missed, I don't know, half his games or some ridiculous number for United. So that's number 1. Number 2, I didn't get removing Fernandes. Now, I tried to find a stat for when Fernandes has been subbed off. I didn't know exactly where to find. I tried to look. I saw how many times he's been brought on. It's only been 3 times. in his entire United career he's come on as a sub. So I don't know. In fact, someone help me out. Tell me how you can figure out how many times a guy has been brought off. Because I tried to look and my old brain could not find. Just to see how many times has a guy been substituted off. And so I wanted to see, because Fernandes doesn't come off unless he's injured, and he looked bewildered when he was brought off. And I wondered, how is this an attacking sub? And I go back to the Fulham game when they made the subs, and again I wondered even then, how is this an attacking sub?
Yeah.
I'm like, why is it an attack? I feel like this United looks just like last season's United, and I'm waiting for the same excuses because they're gonna come. It's the same United. It's the same where they look okay. They can't have a full game where they're okay. So they have 45 minutes, or they have between after halftime and the 70th minute, they were very good.
Yeah.
And then they went back to the team that started the game. Now, of course, there are mitigating factors. Okay, Zaxi touches the ball. If Garnacho's, he doesn't touch it, the ball maybe goes in.
Yeah.
If the ball goes in, it's a goal. Maybe changes the complexion.
Yeah.
But then again, you want Zaxi to be like that, because that's what strikers do. They try to get the end of things. Maybe just why he slid instead of, because he was trying to slide in. I don't know. I can fall in that way.
Yeah.
The thing you cannot forgive United is the way they defended for that final goal.
Yeah.
They had 4 players around Adingra. 4.
Yeah.
Cranked up.
So, and then they had another 4 in the middle of the box. So they had 8 players in their box, but they're all within maybe 10 yards of each other. And at the far end, you had 2 guys just
players.
chilling.
Unmarked.
Unmarked 2 players.
So that I cannot understand. Like, what level of defending is that? And that now goes back to the sub to remove Maguire, who's the leader of the defense. And now they have to reorganize themselves. And I thought that's odd.
Very, because now it makes me wonder, is De Ligt really a leader? Does he talk? Does he give out instructions?
If an Eve is a leader, it's too early. And game has been going on for 80 minutes. You come on before you do. So I think the leader, when Maguire goes off, should be
Lisandro.
the midget, Lisandro. But when who makes the biggest mistake in that? It's Lisandro.
Exactly.
He runs all the way to try and come and close. So they make themselves. There were 3. He joins them to make it 4. And then, like Sean Wright Phillips said, they didn't stop the cross, and the guy had the whole all time in the world to head it across.
Yeah.
And I feel like United are a case of they make 1 step forward, 1 step backward. So last season, anytime the ball went towards Onana, you sort of thought it's a goal. This season, correct me if I'm wrong, but Onana looks a lot more calmer and comfortable.
Yeah,
he's making a lot more. He looks more reliable. It's
Yeah.
only 1 game. It's only 2 games, but he looks more reliable.
But the biggest problem is the defense.
Yes.
A keeper is only as good as his defense.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying now. So now they have improved his side.
Yeah.
So he looks a bit more reliable. Mazraoui looks more solid.
Yeah.
So they've improved that side, but then they are making mistakes on this other side. You get? Like, it's like the
That's
United
the
can't just
pairing,
move forward. Like, they take this step this way. So they improve on Onana looks more comfortable and okay. Mazraoui looks solid and what, but then this centre back thing is misbehaving, so they don't know what's going on there. Amad Diallo looks okay, but when he looks okay, it's at the expense of something else. Like Zaxi comes in, but Hoyland goes out. It's like they just can't collectively move forward.
Yeah.
And how about their bench? What do you make of their bench? Because I don't think Rashford is quite influential, especially when you look at these first 2 games.
Rashford is forgotten to play football completely. Like, it's the football is gone. He's like, it's like when a cricketer forgets how to bowl and they cannot bowl anymore. Like, the action is gone. No matter what he tries, they cannot find the action. Or when a golfer gets a case of the hips, you know, when they're trying to score the ball and just doesn't go into the cup. Or when a gymnast gets the case of the twisties. It looks like that's Rashford just.
And it's him and Mount as well. Because Mount, it does.
Mount
I don't think-
is better.
I don't
Mount
think-
is better.
No, here's my disclaimer. I don't think Mount was ever that great a player. Mount was created by Frank Lampard. And the whole Chelsea needed someone, a new Mr. Chelsea. You know, a new Mr. Frank Lampard. A new guy. But
I think so far it hasn't.
even at Chelsea, I never quite saw what's the fuss with Mason Mount. But that's just me. He is okay. But I think he would be very okay at a Fulham. I think,
Yeah.
you know, between numbers 9, Fulham, Palace,
mid-table.
Brentford, there.
Yeah.
I've never seen him as a top 4 player. Never, ever. I never. And again, I ask you, what's his strength? What's his strength? What's his
best
What
position?
is it?
Yeah.
What's his
Yeah, because that
strength?
was the main question. Actually.
Does what
is
does he
his
do?
position?
I don't see it.
Yeah.
Now you compare that to like Arsenal. I think Mount and Emil Smith Rowe are sort of on the same level.
No.
I think Smith
Emil Smith Rowe is going to be a more than decent player in the Premier League. His problem was injuries,
yeah.
and then the Arsenal juggernaut was waiting for no one. Okay, because the team is moving forward. So the more injuries he gets, the team is moving forward. So there is no space for you because the team is moving. So you have to go like, hey man, this train. He is going to be a far better player. I can put my hands, and I know Mason Mount has won the Champions League, but Smith Rowe is going to be a far better player.
So here's the thing, Jemo. So if in your comparison, Mount is not going to be or Emil Smith Rowe is going to be better than Mount.
Yes.
So then what is United doing if they want to go forward? They want to be in the top 4. They want to be fighting for the titles. Then why they're not getting the quality players?
The question should be why United seem to sign specific kind of players who all seem to have a connection with Ten Hag. And he seems to be the only guy. He seems to have this thing where they only sign players like that. We'll talk about Pep Guardiola in a bit. Gundo might be the first player he has resigned. Might be. I don't know. There could be some random guy. There could be some guy at Barcelona. But generally, you know, look at how many players Klopp brought with him from Dortmund to Liverpool. Look, for some reason, United have this fixation with they get specific players who have either played in the Dutch League, Eredivisie, or they have played for Ajax, or they have played under Ten Hag. It seems to be their operation modus operandi for most things. But I asked when they signed Mason Mount, and I was here.
We asked.
In fact, it's a pity Sammy is chickened out. But we had this fight with Sammy a year ago, if you remember.
Yeah.
And the previous, I was like, what is he coming to do? Because I think his best position, Mason Mount, is where Fernandes plays.
Yes, it is.
So I am not sure what he brings. Is he disciplined enough to play in the double pivot? No. Is he good enough to play wide? No. So where? I think it's the Fernandes, but Fernandes is Mr. United. So what do you do? I always argued. I said I'm not sure. I don't see what Mount brings to the team. So you look at United as a whole and you tell yourself, Zaxi looks like he could be useful.
Yeah.
Højlund and Zaxi are the same-ish. There's potential, but it's still too young.
Yeah.
You look wide. Amad Diallo looks lively. He played yesterday despite suffering a personal loss in his family. Looked lively. But then you look at Anthony and you ask yourself, so why did they get Anthony when they had Amad Diallo? It makes no sense. And then you ask yourself, so they kissed and made up Ten Hag and Sancho. Where is he?
Where the heck is he, by the way?
Actually, there are rumors from Fabrizio Romano that Sancho might be moving away from Old Trafford.
He needs to.
He probably needs to.
He needs to.
So you look at United and you feel like they make one step forward and then something takes them sideways. And then they come back again and then something takes them the other. But for me, I maintain, what's their identity? I want to see the identity that they play with. I know how Tottenham play. I know how Villa play. How do United play? Can anyone sit and say, guys, United play this way or that way? I don't know.
Let's give Ten Hag some time. We see.
This is his third season. How much time
I
you
know.
want?
Here's the thing. I mean, last season he complained that he didn't have the number of players that he wanted, and the players who could play the system that he wants. So let's give him time. Let's give him like 10 games into the season. We see what United want to do. I saw a glimpse of it a bit, but it was only in the first third. They want to play out from the back, but after that, they are sort of struggling to get it to. So get the ball into the midfield and into the final third.
It took Unai Emery half a season for us to see how he plays. It took Anko Postecoglou. It took him how many? 4-5 games. We saw how he plays.
Yeah.
We all know how they